Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily presented by Amazon Prime for January 19th, 2026. I'm Dave DuFour here with Zena, Keita, and Baraheni. Coming up, Ja is back. Maybe. We'll see. He was great in London. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to do a little bit of stock watch around the league. Good morning, everybody. What's up, guys? Hope you guys had a good weekend.
Good day.
We did.
Hello.
Yeah.
It was great.
Zena doing a bunch of wedding planning.
I did.
Just, I don't know, shoveling snow up there
it's
in
cold,
Toronto.
man. Don't slip.
Yeah. Before we get to the show, a little bit of housekeeping. Guys, if you check the show description, we actually have a link in there for our listener survey. Go to theathletic.com/survey26. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you like about the show, what you don't like, how we can improve.
That's right.
And, yeah, we're also going to have a giveaway. 3 lucky entrants will win $100 or a £100 worth of Amazon vouchers.
Whoa,
so there's some incentive to give us feedback.
Can I submit?
And I will say,
I know.
Yeah,
I'm the one planning a wedding. I might need that. I'm not gonna lie.
That's right. We actually do implement this feedback. Like we try to. We talk about this internally a lot. Yeah. So it's important to us because we want to know what to deliver to you guys beyond just, our smiling faces and a fun time. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of smiling faces and a fun time, Ja Morant finally played basketball. This was honestly so much fun to watch. He was dancing, big smile on his face. Call 12, 126-109. The Grizzlies beat the Magic in London. But the story is Ja. He had 20 and 10 in the first half. The Grizzlies really just, they came out hot like they did in Berlin, but they had Ja. So the offense didn't stop. They look great when Ja's out there.
No, they do. They really do. It's like one of those things where he is such a tantalizing player that when he plays like this, you're like, how is he even in trade conversations? How dare they even include him in some sort of trade? Because he goes and he makes it so obvious how important of a player he is. That's why he's a superstar, right? That's why, I don't know, 2 years ago, we were talking about him as the face of the league, face of the Memphis Grizzlies franchise, and potentially like leading them to a championship at one point. It's just, it's so few and far between recently of these type of games. We remember against the Sixers a couple weeks ago where he dropped 40 and he looked incredible. Mm-hmm. And then he got hurt again and comes back, especially after the whole debacle with Vince Williams Jr. at practice. Like there's just so much going on with him that it's hard to sift through and realize that this is still a very tantalizing player, a guy who on any given night can be, top 5, top 10 player in the league. It's just on any given night is the issue,
Yeah. Now, Ja did exactly what Ja is known to do, and that is push the pace. Like if whether you need to know it for Memphis or you're a GM that's looking to see, is he still worth it? You look at what Memphis was doing without him. They were bottom 10 in transition. They did not push the pace. They did not score in transition as easily as they do now that they have Ja back. It's really unfortunate that we're having this roller coaster right now, because this could be the window of time that the Grizzlies could, stack wins, could lock in and be able to, capitalize on Morant being back and being able to not only do what he does, make points for himself, but the biggest thing, those 10 assists at the half.
Yes.
Play make.
Yeah.
He was pulling out Franz and Banchero, like all the bigs had to come out to respect his speed.
Yep.
And he was driving and kicking and being able to play make. And yeah, it's unfortunate that we're not seeing this being capitalized upon, but it is nice to see Morant back on the floor.
Mm-hmm. I think that not playing in Berlin the other day was a huge mistake for Ja, for the league, for the Grizzlies. And I don't know what triggered him coming back for the game, but I have to think that the league was like, hey, why are you not playing?
Right.
Like, they're playing the injury game with Ja.
Yeah.
And I understand because you want to trade him and you can't have him get hurt. But also, people are paying money to see the Grizzlies play basketball, and Ja Morant is a big reason why. So it was really good to see him out there.
Yeah, the crowd responded like the way that they embraced him in the O2 Arena was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like I've heard people make this comp before, but it sort of reminds me of the Vince Carter Toronto Raptors breakup where the end of his time in Toronto, he wasn't the same player. He immediately gets traded to the Nets and he's back to his all-star ways. And I wonder if that's I don't know if it's that necessarily, but I do wonder if it's time
quiet quitting
for some quiet quitting to happen. I mean, look, this was a great way to display what he's capable of and what he can do for a new team. It's just maybe it's time for that amicable breakup.
That's right. Got to shut him down so he doesn't get hurt. Hey, guys, Saturday night, epic game between the Spurs and the Wolves. Wemby wins this one. He hits the game winner, gets the game-sealing block, had 39 points. Spurs won by 3. This is a close game. Anthony Edwards continues to impress.
Insane.
55 points, 9 of 16 from 3. The efficiency and the scoring increase with Anthony Edwards. Every single season, he's scored more points per game, and he's gotten more and more efficient at doing it. Now, the Wolves were a little bit shorthanded. They didn't have Rudy Gobert. Naz Reid only plays 5 minutes.
Right.
This, if we're going to get this as a playoff series, Zena, this is going to be a 7-game just slobber knocker. When Rudy Gobert's out there, Victor Wembanyama controls so much attention, and the way that those guys play around him, I don't know. This was a fantastic game the other night.
Yeah, I mean, Edwards was unstoppable offensively. Wembanyama was unstoppable defensively. You saw the chaos on both sides of the ball. I just love that this game felt like a true transitional historic game for the NBA. You saw a game that does not have LeBron and does not have Steph and does not have all of these historical figures that we've had in this league for a while be the center of attention. And it was pure good basketball. I'll give the credit that even with Minnesota being down Rudy and then ending up being down Naz Reid, they still competed.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, that was behind Anthony Edwards. And he stepped up. I mean, 33 field goal attempts is wild. I cannot imagine the fatigue he felt after a game like that. But we appreciate it. We felt fatigued watching it.
Shooters don't get tired, Zena. I don't know if you know.
I loved what he said post-game where he said, I wish it was just me versus Wemby one-on-one at the end. Like, that's the level of competitiveness that he had.
It's elite. Elite.
The Wolves were down 25 at half. So I don't blame you if you tuned out of this game at halftime. But Anthony Edwards scored 39 of his 55 points in the second half. He was absolutely unconscious. 3-point shooting.
26 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was absurd. Yeah. And by the way, thank you for bringing up the fourth quarter, because I think Anthony Edwards has the clutch player of the year wrapped. It is finished.
Between that game and Christmas Day?
Yes. Conversation is over. Can I just mention?
I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be in there.
Donovan Mitchell has a great
mix.
Donovan Mitchell has
his numbers are crazy.
So does Shea, so does Jokic, even James Harden. Great clutch numbers. Anthony Edwards right now is 3rd in points per game in the clutch. He is shooting 71% from the field in clutch scenarios. That's not a typo. That's not a mistake.
That's crazy.
That is absurd. He's also shooting 61% from 3 in these moments. So, guys, it's over. The clutch player of the year conversation is done.
Might be over.
I feel like it's his. That's wild.
And I mean, I know the Spurs won.
Put the ball in his hands.
Absolutely. I know the Spurs won, but he kept answering back every single moment. He had that nice fadeaway jump shot to make it a 1-point game. Man, he has been absurd. To your point, Dave, every year it feels like he just becomes more and more efficient as a scorer.
But here's the thing. We can give all the credit in the world to Anthony Edwards for these unbelievable performances, these heroic efforts to get his team back into things. But now, this is 2 games we have seen him and his team not be able to pull out the win. I'm hoping to see what Minnesota, like, it maybe by the 3rd time this comes around. I don't know. Maybe it will be around the Warriors. They're coming up against the Warriors in about 4 games or so, and they have to go back to back against them. I need to see the Minnesota Timberwolves pull out the wins that matter and not let Anthony Edwards' efforts go to waste.
Listen, they were shorthanded, but they also, I think they're a guy short.
They are.
Right? The point guard situation, the guard rotation situation is what they have to look at over the next few weeks. If this team is going to get, second round,
they will make a
Western
trade.
Conference Finals. I believe so too. But this team is already so good, and it helps when you got Anthony Edwards just being able to score like that. By the way, didn't even talk about the Spurs here, guys, who continue to just beat good teams. This is an extremely competitive team that I feel like I went a little off the rails on when they beat the Thunder in that first game.
It's okay. And we can all get excited.
They've done nothing to make me doubt what I said about them a month ago. I think this team, the Spurs, this season can make the finals. And if you make the finals, you can win it. They just have so much happening, and it helps that you've got Victor Wembanyama, who is going to almost always be the most impactful player on the court, just by virtue of being there.
Bold bias.
Yeah, it's over for the league now that he shaved his head. Guys, sticking to the West, we got to talk about the Thunder because they dropped another game, and that's always news. They lost to the Miami Heat by 2, 122-120 Saturday night. The bigger story there is that Jalen Williams, J-Dub, got hurt. This is a huge deal for the Thunder because he coming back from that injury, the wrist injury, trying to find his way, hasn't really had a good season so far. This feels like a huge step back for them.
Yeah.
It also feels like, he was starting to get rhythm and he was starting to figure it out a little bit towards the last week or so. And so a hamstring injury, which, by the way, we've seen so many hamstring injuries recently, another soft tissue type of thing. You just wonder, how is this going to derail his progress? Because I think, if you had to put one question on the line for the Thunder to finish the season, it's, can Jalen Williams get back to All-NBA basketball? If he can't get back to All-NBA basketball, I think to your point about the Spurs, the West is wide open. The Nuggets can do it. Rockets, Wolves, whoever you want to call it, they have a chance just because the Thunder aren't near the top of the league if Jalen Williams isn't that guy for them right now.
I can't believe you threw the Rockets in there.
I knew it. As soon as I said the Rockets, you guys laughed. I saw it.
Well, yeah. I smiled when you said the West is wide open. I mean, imagine if we said this a month ago. That's wild to think, but yeah, we're starting to see that. And the Jalen Williams thing is huge because we know that the connectivity that the OKC Thunder need on the perimeter is huge. And Jalen Williams provides that. Not only does he provide that in tandem with Shea, he provides that when Shea is off the floor and he's with that second unit, he's being the connector between different units. And so not having him, we saw what it looked like earlier this season. There was no problem. There was no issue when he was out. And it was to the point that it was scary to think, oh, Matt, wow, like without Jalen Williams, they're already so good. But to lose him right now when they're already stumbling is going to be really tough to see. But we'll see who steps up in that role. We know AJ Mitchell seems poised to do it.
The Heat took 34 more shots, right, than the Thunder did the other night.
And it was boards and turnovers.
They need Hartenstein to come back.
Yeah, they need
bigger
him back
than anything right now. I mean, J-Dub, of course, they need him healthy, but Hartenstein is a guy that they're missing underneath the basket. They're just getting destroyed. They're too small without him out there. And I think that's one of the big reasons why we're watching them struggle a little bit, is just not having him out there. You mentioned the connectivity. What he does on the offensive end, operating as a hub and as a passer is also missed. But I mean, listen, it feels like they're vulnerable, and it has for the last, month or so. And J-Dub not being as good as he can be, or at least as we've seen him, is a big reason why. So we'll keep our eyes on that. And hopefully he's not gone for too long, because again, it can get, who knows what's going to happen in the West now with between the injuries and the fact that some, this newfound money with the Spurs being so good so fast. I don't know. Anyway, guys, stick around after the break. We're going to check in on some teams that have been a little bit up and down this season. All right, guys, time for a little game we call Stock Watch. Very creative. Let's talk about the New York Knicks. They're 2-8 in their last 10. It has not gone well for them recently. We were proclaiming them the best team in the East not that long ago, and they have not been that at all, S.
No, they haven't. To start 2026, they have the worst record in the NBA, the worst defensive rating in the NBA, the worst effective field goal percentage, worst true shooting percentage, second worst net rating. It's been so bad.
Why do you hate the Knicks?
Right. Dang.
Yeah, I know you would think I'm a Knicks hater the way I'm talking about this, but truly it has looked awful. And I know recently they have missed Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, who are obviously massive to what they want to do. But this team is more talented than to lose the way that they have been recently. And I think there's so much pressure on one name, and that is Karl Anthony Towns. There's been a lot of conversation, especially after that whole debacle against the Kings where he fell down, didn't get back up, didn't run in transition, and then it led to a 5-0 run for the Kings, who are winning basketball games right now, by the way. When it comes to the Knicks, it's just like, one, how are you going to survive defensively with Cat as your anchor? And two, if you are going to lean into Cat as a passing hub, as a playmaking hub, especially with Brunson out, is he talented enough as a passer? Is he as smart of a decision maker as he can be to be able to make the reads, make the right passes, and execute? And truthfully, in this stretch, he hasn't. Like, he hasn't done what he's needed to for this team to be at their best.
We talked about this the other night after that Kings game. I mean, he got outplayed by Precious Achiuwa. Yeah. And a lot of it is on effort. And it's so weird because you would think that these are the moments that the Knicks need Karl Anthony Towns when Brunson's not there. He's supposed to be their other all-star, Zena. Like, he just doesn't play like it. I mean,
and Mike Brown calling him out the way he did. And we've seen, like, Mike Brown is not afraid to call players out. He's not afraid to call teams out. And I'm sure Kat wasn't expecting that. It's just funny. We've seen it recently, even with Eric Spoelstra and Khalil Royer. Like, there's just been weirdness in terms of players being called out by their coaches or something, or comments being made. But Karl Anthony Towns, I think, deserves it. I think Karl Anthony Towns, it's the level of money you're being paid, the role that you were brought to play alongside Jalen Brunson. And even when Jalen Brunson is out, the role you're supposed to play is, this is your team. Take it over. And you're seeing a little bit of a clash in which, yes, Mike Brown was there to help, or brought that to New York to help with the offense. But let's just be real. Mike Brown likes his defense too. You know what I mean? He really values that. And Karl Anthony Towns has never been someone that you would put that label on. And I think trying to force him into this role of, you need to have this defensive tenacity, especially when you're not scoring the way you can be without Jalen on the floor. It's a clash right now. And so I think that the call out was necessary. You can't be on the floor for 12 seconds and let the Kings go and, score at will. But that level of intensity is necessary. And I think Mike Brown really,
of defense is effort, right?
Exactly. So for Mike Brown to go in and have that experience against the Kings, his former team, and then have that experience against the Warriors, his former team, I just feel like there was a lot of energy already. Karl Anthony Towns needs to wake it up for him.
Again, you gotta, if you're the star and you're the guy, like, you've got to play like it. They're also a little bit hamstrung because Mitchell Robinson can't play as much as they need him to. But you're hamstrung by having to play Karl Anthony Towns with Mitchell Robinson. This is the problem that they ran into a little bit in Minnesota, where you can't have him as the 5 out there because you just can't trust the defense. So I don't know, a lot for the Knicks to figure out.
Before we figure this out, though, they're now 1 game ahead of the Raptors. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's something along the lines of that. So half a game. The Raptors are half a game back of third.
Okay. We can't sleep on the Raptors.
Well, the Knicks are sleeping. That's the problem. They got to wake up.
Yeah, they got to wake up.
Hey, the Cavs are awake, guys. 7-3 in their last 10. They've looked a lot better. They get big back-to-back wins over the 76ers, which, obviously they're in a playoff battle for seeding there. Jalen Tyson has really come on this season. I think, like, most improved player. Like, we're starting to have these conversations about a lot of guys. Peyton Watson, Anthony Black, who has been excellent here lately, especially. Keontae George. But I think Jalen Tyson should be up there as well. He's a two-way player. This guy defends. And, I mean, he had a big 39-point game the other night. On a team that's got Donovan Mitchell, I don't know how that happens unless you're way better than we know.
He's big. That's a really, really big advantage for him as a guard, because he's crafty and he can create his own shot, but he's also like 6'7", 6'8". So he can play wing next to Donovan Mitchell, next to Darius Garland. And the big thing is, like, he has replaced what they have needed or required from DeAndre Hunter. If you go back and watch them over the last 10 games, since they're 7-3, it has been less DeAndre Hunter and more Jalen Tyson. And
Dave, didn't I call this?
You did.
It's very true. I was actually going to credit you just now, Zena, because you mentioned this like a month ago. DeAndre Hunter has not worked out for this team this season. Defensively, he has been terrible for them, truthfully. If you watch them, a lot of their breakdowns have been DeAndre Hunter not realizing a backdoor cut or DeAndre Hunter missing a rotation, whatever it is. You don't necessarily get that with Jalen Tyson, who is younger, so his effort has to be on 100%, as we've talked about with effort throughout this segment just now. He buys in at a huge, he knows what he needs to do on any given night. And I think to the point about the offense, it just flows when you can have a bigger guy who can put the ball down on the floor. So, he's been awesome.
And being able to have somebody that doesn't force a shot. He's not looking to, he can drive and we'll see him drive, but he only makes those drives when 0.5 basketball doesn't equate for him to pass the ball out or to immediately catch and shoot. That's the only time. He literally, I think it works. The whole next man up works with coaches and schemes that allow for 0.5 basketball to happen. Yeah. And so if you don't have Donovan Mitchell having to be the person constantly with the ball in his hand, or Darius Garland constantly with the ball in his hand, which we've seen with Darius Garland going down, that actually helps kind of get the ball movement a little bit up, interestingly enough. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen that consistently enough yet, but I've seen, we saw in that game, at least against Philly, you're seeing Jalen Tyson just be in the right spots at the right time and also moving the ball or shooting the ball when he has the right opportunity. You see 39 points go up with 17 field goals. That's good decision making.
Yeah,
period.
I totally agree. And to your point about Garland, I actually think they've started to figure out that they can't rely on him this year because he's had multiple re-aggravations to that toe.
And now it's actually so he had a surgical procedure on one foot, and it's the other toe now that's bothering him, that's keeping him out of games. And the
compensation, that's your body compensating for it. Yeah, man, it's so sad.
So
it's tough. At this point, it's lean into Tyson more, maybe he can create even more for you. And I think really the big switch for them has been on defense. They were middle of the pack on defense to start this year. They're now a top 10 defense. They're climbing up. And I think that's Mobley and Allen playing better, but just Tyson substituting in for Hunter, who
and you get more switchable with Tyson out there. You can trust him on smaller players, and you can trust him to go up a little bit. I think that's helped them scheme a little bit more on the perimeter. Yeah. The Clippers, guys, stock is up. And not just aspiration. 8-2 in their last 10. They did have to send Kawhi home from the road trip, but they've got the Wizards and the Bulls coming up next. So to me, this is maybe there's an injury issue there with him, but this is good injury management for a guy who is going to play in some meaningless games. When you're finally starting to find some footing, James Harden's been awesome this whole season, and he was a monster the other night. Yeah, against the Raptors.
No, he was
4 minutes.
Oh my God, he was incredible. He scored 12 straight points in the fourth quarter for them, and he basically outscored the Raptors at will in that fourth quarter and in overtime. The connection of him and Zubats is back, by the way. Yep. You can see the way that they're working together in pick and roll situations. And I think shout out to Ty Lue, because this takes a little bit of adjusting, but he's leaned on some of his tertiary role players in a Kobe Sanders, in a Jordan Miller, and those guys are coming in and giving them really good minutes.
Having another ball handler out there in Kobe Sanders with those guys has been that's one of the key changes that I've seen for this team over the last month. And, Kawhi being healthy this year is a big part of what they're doing right now.
Absolutely.
But they're now, Zena, they're a little bit more able to withstand him missing a game or two because of leaning into the guys like Kobe Sanders, and that Harden has been at an all-star level.
Yeah, and that is why the real question is not if they are good. We know that they're good. We've seen these guys put up numbers. We know that if you put the Clippers in a situation like last year's series against Denver Nuggets, they are going to push push guys like the Denver Nuggets to the max. However, it's not about if they're good. It's about how long can James Harden play 40 minutes a night all the way to the playoffs. I don't know if that's feasible. I don't know. And that to me is the question, is how long can you play these guys for that long every single night before they wear down?
They need some depth. They definitely could use some depth.
But the Kobe Sanders thing, I like that guy.
Yeah.
I like his length. Yeah. He went off against the Warriors. And I loved it because before the game, I told Chris Mullen and Bonte Hill, my hosts out in the Bay, I was like, watch out for Kobe. Once Derrick Jones Jr. went down, I was like, this is who they're going to turn to. He doesn't turn the ball over. He is big, so you can switch with him on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't take a lot of shots, so he's not going to take away from what you're trying to do offensively.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to be a good complementary piece for them, I think.
Correct. And now you're seeing him develop with game reps, and that's fun to see.
Yeah, they also feel like a team that's probably poised to make a trade here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that John Collins expiring contract.
Derek Jones Jr.,
Bogdanovich. That's right. They've got a lot of pieces out there. They weren't as bad as they started the season.
Yeah.
They're not as good as we thought they might be based on last year, though.
Sure.
Right. This is an old team, and I think they could use maybe a younger guy. I mean, maybe they're going to be on Ja Morant. You never know with the Clippers, to be honest with you. I know that there's this whole talk about them keeping the powder dry, thinking about free agency 2 years from now, but I just don't know if I buy that. Hey, guys, the Warriors, 7-3 in their last 10, Zena.
They're back.
Okay. Are they back, though? Because, yes, they beat the Knicks, but we talked about the Knicks. They're 2-8 in their last 10. No Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
I just don't think the Warriors are playing anybody right now, Zena.
Hey, that's okay. That is okay. Because when it comes to the Warriors, the most important thing is that they're winning, period.
Right.
We have seen the Warriors, we've seen them beat the Denver Nuggets this year with Jokic, right? We've seen them beat capable teams this season. We have seen them lose to not what we would consider non-capable teams this season.
Yeah.
One of the things that we have consistently been concerned about with the Warriors all season long has been, what is their identity? And the thing about it is, it keeps being whoever's on the other side of the ball. And it's like, oh, you like to shoot threes? Guess what? We like to shoot threes too, even though they absolutely do. Oh, you like to run in transition? Guess what? We like to run in transition too. It's like, who are you other than the 3-point shooting? Right. It's just like, that's been the issue is we can't figure out who our starting five are. We can't figure out what our bench is doing and how they fit into the starting five and the rotations. They couldn't figure it out. And in these last few games, last 15, when they've gone 11-4, they have figured out the starting lineup. The bench unit has been dominating, third in points per game right now in the league. They have figured out, the role players have stepped up, and particularly D'Anthony Melton has come back, and he is looking good coming off of that ACL injury. And Brandon Podziemski has become an excellent decision maker, excellent playmaker, and also being able to make the right decision when he comes off the pick and roll, whether it's for his shot, whether it's for a dribble drive pull up, or a dribble drive kick. He has been excellent with that. And the Warriors overall have turned down their turnovers. So do it against trap teams. That's okay.
Yeah.
So beating bad teams is a good thing in the NBA.
That's right.
I think we forget that.
Exactly. Taking care of business is a good thing in the NBA. So I say build up this momentum. They don't have a super hard schedule to close out the year. Stack the wins, especially before, All-Star weekend. And find a way to try to chip away at the gap you've created for yourself in the Western Conference unnecessarily earlier this season.
They're 12-6 since D'Anthony Melton came back. That has been the key change for them
1,000%.
is getting him back.
Yeah, he's huge.
But Jimmy Butler called them a mediocre team. I think I agree with him.
They're not in the conversation with the honestly the top 6 in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they can even slide into the top 6, truthfully, unless the Rockets and Lakers, who have been struggling a little bit here, unless they fall off. I don't see it in their cards. And also, they're going to be a player in trade deadline too, right?
Yeah.
Like Kuminga, what happens with that? Are they going to go out and get a Trey Murphy, who they reported to? I don't know. There's just a lot of things. I don't know.
Trey Murphy said he's off. New Orleans said he's off the.
The
market, you never know.
Plenty of times you hear that and it doesn't turn out to be true. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Please go and do our listener survey at theathletic.com/survey26. We want to hear from you, whether you've been here through the various iterations of this show or you're just joining us this season. Your voice is important and it matters. Please give us feedback. Also, join our Discord. Link is in the show notes.
That's right.
We've had massive amounts of people join over the last few weeks. So please come hang out with us. Subscribe to the YouTube. Give us a 5-star review. You guys aren't new here or to podcasting. You know how it works. For Zena, Keita, and Baraheni, I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for hanging out with us.